Well, we did some tests here over the last couple weeks and everything.
Okay.
So let's
Cool.
pray that.
Do you have anything for, any public comment? Nancy? No. Do you have anything?
Well, I was gonna update you on the Welcome Center.
Oh, please.
Yes. Figured I'd do it
Yeah,
when it's relatively quiet,
yeah.
since we have to give away our negotiating position in public meetings.
Okay.
Anyway, I did a walkthrough with Jay, and it was actually a little better shape than I thought it was gonna be. I was expecting a big mess, and it was only a small mess. He claims that they don't have any mold issues. They had a small mold issue early, a few years ago that from some leaking piece of equipment that they cleaned up and fixed, and they haven't had any issues since.
That's interesting.
There's a lot of office space up there, which is good, and they still have the call center set up on the right side, facing the building. There's still, just the one restroom.
Yeah.
My understanding is they had, when they were trying to sell it, they had two buyers who went like to the 11th hour and then backed out because the cost to renovate was going to be so much. Because there's no plumbing, there's nothing underneath. If you try to put in, more restrooms or showers or changing rooms, if you want to put the fitness center up there, you got to drill through the cement flooring and put in all plumbing because there's nothing other than those two restrooms.
Couldn't you put a restroom in and raise it up and then have a ramp up to it so the plumbing comes in the side instead of drilling through?
I don't know what code is.
I don't know either, but I've seen that done before.
Yeah, I'm just saying
Okay.
that apparently whoever was looking at it didn't go that way or want to go that way because they just backed out because it was going to be so costly for what they'd get out of it. With Darlene's help, I got one cost estimate for a commercial building inspection. It was like $3,300 to do everything: roof, air conditioning, soup to nuts. I haven't gotten a second quote yet because I didn't know where we wanted to go with it. But I wanted to get an idea how much it would cost.
Do we have an idea what they're looking to lease it for, or
I'm sorry?
do we have any idea what they want,
They're looking for a number from us. They're not offering anything.
Okay.
$1 a year.
My suggestion would be we go in with, forget price for a minute, but I don't think we want to lease a long-term lease where we're going to be responsible for the structure, the systems. So I'm thinking we'd want a lease where we would be responsible for everything from the walls in, but not the structure itself. It's a 20-some-odd-year-old building that's had nothing done to it.
And not built to last, probably.
Well, it was a sales center.
Yeah, exactly.
The air conditioning units are all going to have to be replaced in our lifetime.
Right.
If we were to lease it.
I don't think we'd have to start doing that now anyway, probably. So you have to start reducting
But I don't know that we want to take that on, do we?
I mean, it all depends on what we want to do with it, because it all depends what they want to spend. Like I said, in my mind, I mean,
No.
the best way around this would be to buy, to lease or to rent it. And if we can get a bank loan, it's like for every $1 million of a bank loan, at 6-7% interest, it's $70 to $100 a household, give or take, per year. So if you live here for 3 years, you pay $200-something, $300.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you move out, you stop paying. The new person comes in.
No, I appreciate it.
So-
I'm with you on how to.
So it advertises the cost down dramatically when you look at it that way, as opposed to saying, okay, I got to assess everybody now at $3 million.
Oh, yeah.
And then people are going to,
No, I don't think any of us want to.
No, and my fear is if we put money into it, if, when there's a contract done for a lease, if there's change of control, I mean, and somebody else comes in and they want to Who buys it?
No, you can't
Actually
do, no,
buys it
no,
out.
There's very limited, there's limited things you can do with it.
no, if you put a lease on it, the new people have to assume the lease, they can't, you know, let's.
That
just-
would be in the lease
Yeah,
agreement.
that's in the lease agreement, so
Okay,
if
well,
we,
I'm just asking that.
oh, no,
So-
that's definitely in the lease agreement, that whoever takes over whoever takes over ownership has to maintain the leases, the lease is automatically through.
So you figure, I think their fixed costs, not operating costs, but their fixed cost, property taxes, fees are about $75,000 a year. And then whatever they're paying to keep, I think they've got maybe one air conditioner going or something. They're not doing much, and they're doing nothing to it.
Yeah,
So I figure they want to cover those costs at a minimum.
Right,
yeah, well,
which makes sense.
well, and they would get out from under a small but not insignificant number relative to 75,000 a year. I
Plus
assume
whatever's
by
costing
the-
them to keep it alive.
Well, yeah, plus there's the
Insurance.
nut, there's the
So
nut
figure
to
it-
us, which
Figure
is,
it's 100,000.
how much
85
they're
to
paying us
100,000.
19,000 a year.
24.
Was it 24 now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I might.
And they're paying 50 in property taxes,
Because my,
none of which we would get out of, by the way. I checked with
Okay.
Andy.
okay,
Because we're a CDD, they're still the owners of the property,
Mhm.
so they don't get out from the taxes.
and are they willing to sell it?
They've told me no, but then I hear through another grapevine that they've got it in the hands of a broker, so I don't know.
Well, because
But I haven't,
simplistically, you know, and this is coming from a position of complete ignorance on my part, I would just, if we could buy it, I'd just knock it down and be done with it. Turn it into,
The park,
yeah,
so here's another thought. First of all, my opinion, I would think if we're going to take over that facility, we ought to somehow test the community's willingness to share in that. I know what you're gonna say.
yeah, I think we've got to get a lot more further, because people aren't gonna understand. Okay, so the questions I've got, how much is it gonna cost?
Right.
What are you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
It's, half the people say it's not in good condition, it's falling apart, so I think we have so many answers.
So we get the inspection done.
Yeah, we have so many answers and so many things we have to do, even before we went to the community, and then you have to explain to the community about what can go in there instead. So, and then there's also my biggest issue that I have with that place is obviously, besides anything going in there, is once somebody else is in there, they have complete access to a community bypassing the gates, because you drive in there and they drive into Passaro, and you're here and you bypassed us.
Well, there's a gate that prevents you from coming out into Passaro.
That's their gate.
sort of.
That's their gate. They don't have to have a gate.
Oh, whatever, yeah, whatever
They-
you want
they-
to do,
they have-
probably.
If you buy that property, you
Talking
don't
about the
have to have a
welcome
gate
center.
Oh, no,
on
no,
egress, so anybody can egress onto Passaro.
Well,
I'm not sure about that. That's an interesting question.
Is for my understanding, but my conversation with the engineer, we can't stop them from driving out to Passaro. Because there's no.
I'd ask somebody
it's-
else.
It's public, well, but they're public roads. You own the property, there's a public road.
Yeah.
How do you stop somebody from driving on it?
Well, I think what you could, it's probably nitty gritty stuff, but you know,
It's a good question. We should
So,
know
so
the answer
that
to
concerns, that concerns me dramatically too. So imagine if you have, I don't know, a halfway house
well, look,
going in there, and then you,
well, there are a bunch of uses that we should be aware of, and that's part of what we would want to make people aware of.
Yeah.
Because there are some things that you can't put a gas station
that's,
there,
that's
you
not the only
can't
thing.
put a methadone clinic there, but there's a whole lot of things that you could
You
put.
can't
there.
put signage out on Laurel either. So if you're a commercial business, you can't put any signage out.
No, plus I believe because it sits on the PUD, it still has to serve the needs of the community.
It does.
In theory, although Pat Nealman, now the new rules say, or the surrounding area, but
This run a community.
I think one thing we could consider doing, because anything we do, whether we're gung ho or we're just testing the water, is it's gonna take a lot of marketing and discussion, but at least we're coming into season, so we could do a bunch of town halls and make it clear, you know, we wanna hear from you.
Yeah.
You know, and just see what people
Because
think.
even if it costs, let's say it costs us $300 or $400 a household per year.
Per year?
Let's just say per year. Between,
That's $600,000.
that's, we buy it, we
Oh, I see.
renovate,
Oh,
I'm just saying, if we did a big
I was at
renovation.
75.
I'm just throwing out a number here. We did a renovation, we bought it, we paid $100,000 and
Right.
what would, so $400, it's just not insignificant amount of, money, but what would be the cost, what would be the loss of property values per household should something go in there that we object to?
It's gonna depend on where your house is.
It's right in front, it's your front entrance. It's your front entrance,
Front
so
door.
anything that goes in there automatically depreciates your value. As you're driving the community, you're seeing,
Well, fair enough,
Yes.
and I think, we have enough realtors in here. So now I think we're talking about like strategy and
Yeah.
communicating with the community, but I think it's great information. 75 years is not a.
or 75 to 100 per $1 million.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking
Yeah, per
about
$1 million,
just, yeah.
And as
So-
interest rates come down, we might be able to do better, and that was for 15 years. I mean, if you did a 20-year lease, obviously it depends upon the number of years you do the
25, I'm
the
thinking
mortgage on.
25
Yeah.
with an option to renew it.
So then obviously it comes down per year, because obviously your money, your principal's being amortized over a longer
So
period.
what would we do, what would the next, well, you're still waiting for
The question,
information on a building.
what are the next steps?
Right.
That we want to follow?
Well, yeah,
Is it premature to have it inspected at this point?
no,
Well,
I don't think
if
so.
you're knocking it down, it is.
Oh,
yeah,
if that's the goal, to knock it
but
down.
wouldn't we want to know the state of, to me, we'd want to know the state of the building. I think, spending $3,500 on
Well-
an inspection it's information.
Well, I
Why
would,
wouldn't we?
I would get a contractor in for free.
It's one magnolia tree.
I would get a contractor in for free and have him look at it and give him, have him give us an idea of what it would be to renovate it. Can we put bathrooms in? What's the cost of that? Just to get some rough numbers, because if we find out it's $5 million to do what we want, the condition of the building becomes kind of moot at that point, because you're gutting everything.
So Hampton, no builders. Is it Charlotte who you guys deal with?
That Jamie does a whole lot more.
Jamie does a whole lot of
Yeah.
stuff. This actually, for what it's worth, maybe can, when you can get Jamie in one place, it might be interesting to ask him if he, as a builder, would be willing to just swing by
Guys
here.
you've used here before.
Yeah,
I mean, Hampton's done many, many clubhouse renovations, there's no question.
yeah,
But who runs the projects and what their process is, I've never been involved.
yeah, okay. So anyway,
Good stuff, though.
yeah, it's really interesting. Because personally, I think, two things. I think we personally would have to control it, whatever we do with it. Because I'm not smart enough to know what we should do with it, but,
But it's gotta be ours, regardless.
Well, at a minimum, you could, there's some good office space there.
yeah,
You could move the POA, CDD offices up there. You could
Cards.
freeze up space here.
All
All the card games, the
We could put a pool,
POA,
a pool table.
all meetings, our meetings, POA, sub-associations, card games, get everything out of here, so you're not putting up and taking down the dining room, I don't know how many times a month. And you could get away with using it with those kinds of things with the existing bathrooms.
yeah.
Because now you're not.
Because
having a big-
if it's us, they're good enough,
Yeah.
right? So, because,
You have to check to make sure, you have to make sure what the HDA and whatever issues are, and they may have certain requirements, not for the number of people usage and bathroom usage.
oh, you mean the ADA thing, the
Yeah.
compliance,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but again, an architect and or a contractor would know where we're at with that.
Okay, so,
No,
all right,
I'll talk to
we'll do some
Jamie.
sniffing, I think, I'm just happy we're not afraid to talk about it, because
No, it's just,
sometimes people, get their undies in a bundle, but I think it's our duty, especially given the state of it. Who was it? It was Bill Rahanick, I think, from Hampton was saying to me, what is that, you know?
And speaking of that, so I
It's
was,
awful.
so I was at the CA meeting
Right.
the other day, and I mentioned to them, would they help, because we had mentioned possibly getting some donations together to put a few shrubs in there. Oh my God, what a disaster. I mean, a half an hour, this conversation about, we should not be subsidizing Heritage with $500,000, you know, they're a billion, you know, both a $1 billion company, and we're gonna spend money, and we need to see it designed before we start asking people for it. So we're talking about this, some cleanup, some mulch, and like 10 exoras, just to get rid of, just to,
You know, that was a thought I had too, is even we spend $20,000 or something,
but we
just,
can't.
Yeah,
just around
I
the
agree with
perimeter.
Can we do,
I agree.
can we do that, because it's not our property?
Well, we can
You
ask
have to
them.
ask them, because if you're, if
I
you're.
can't
right-
imagine they would say
I
no.
thought the CDD is not allowed to spend money on.
No, we do our own donations. No, we can't, CDD cannot.
Oh, no, I'm saying, yeah, our own donations, that's what I meant, but I asked them to help publicize it along with the POA, and it became like this big, huge political football, and I'm told, you know, we wanted to, I said, I'm not
We
gonna
own,
spend,
we own from the sidewalk to the street, don't we?
Correct.
I said, I'm not gonna spend thousands of dollars on creating a design for you, you know, to go to the public with for $1,000 of plants from Home Depot.
Yeah, we wouldn't need that. If we get enough people to just pitch in
Yeah.
a couple of bucks.
That's what I was,
Do you
but I
think
just.
the same
I'm not sure we can do that.
No, personally? Why
Yeah,
couldn't we
If we
just?
personally did, if we collected.
Gifts to the CDD?
No, CDD's not involved at all. It is just,
Oh, to the CA.
No, well,
no,
we.
to Heritage.
To Heritage.
Go right to Heritage.
We announce it, we talk
That's how I
about it, we talk about
interpreted
it,
what you
we
said.
collect the money and we give it to Heritage
Oh.
and say, here's $1,000, or here's $2,000,
We couldn't get involved.
please clean it up.
We can't
I'm not
collect
sure we can
funds.
do that, but.
No, I
can
think
find
we-
out.
Well, we can have Hampton do it.
I think as citizens, I think we just have to do it as citizens.
Well, we can do it as citizens, but we could have Hampton send out an email, we're looking to do it and send it, you know, to the community. And it's not an official, it's a charity, it's a donation thing, so. But, I mean, but how we do it, but we should do something, it's ugly.
I agree.
It is ugly and it's just sitting there and and then it's, well, we should get the CA, the POA, the CDD, Heritage, and it will go converge on Heritage and have a big thing and make them, force them to do it. That's great,
Well, I would-
they're reluctant.
Well, yeah, and, you know, I think Hampton probably knows more about them than we do, but, you know, they're owned by a hedge fund. The hedge fund's not gonna wanna spend money, period, paragraph.
Exactly.
It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, I've basically been told they're not gonna spend a dime on
Which is why I suggested that don't, get some
Yeah.
donations together, or put some money in
yeah,
to make that thing
Me
look
too.
nicer and height it up.
absolutely. Cool. All right, so I guess, thank you so much for digging that out. That's awesome.
it. Well, so I guess I'm still, other than talking to Jamie about a contractor and having it looked at, is that
I
the
mean,
next step between now and the next meeting?
I would do that before we spend money, just to get. have
Well,
some-
plus I definitely wanna, you know, get Cheryl and Cindy to weigh in. But yeah, I think any information you can dig out.
And that's a free option, so, but, get as much information for free before you start spending money, and make decisions.
That's fine.
Cool.
Good, great, thanks,
Anything
Ken.
else? Is that your, anything else you wanna bring up?
For this group, no.
Okay.
I have other local HOA issues going on
I-
this morning, but
Oh.
Okay, I've got,
our mulch for the neighborhood suddenly
Is it
arrived.
mulch time again?
I've got a bunch of stuff going on. I got some issues with the financials. I don't know if you want to discuss some of those things now or later.
I got a bunch of things. I'm afraid that's
Okay.
gonna take up a whole time.
Okay, we'll discuss those later. Just a couple of weird things though on this, which, okay. I'm having a conversation tomorrow with Chico
Okay,
from Rosetta,
okay,
because I just was looking at the budget on that side and trying to figure out some stuff. And I don't know why, but the burden on Rosetta employees is running 40 to 45%,
interesting.
which I thought was a little, I'm waiting for some answers on that.
Okay,
Well, we talked about that at budget time. I don't remember it being that high.
Well, that's what he
Well,
told me what the salaries were, and then he told me the total compensation, and it just, that's what it came out to be.
Well, is that benefits or is that include their overhead for managing?
No. It's just, it's benefits and, taxes and stuff like that, so. So I'm just working through that.
Okay.
Just, but sort of budget things, but not really. We have a lot more issues with the Vesta stuff going on that I identified. They
Yeah.
charge us for uniforms.
They always charge us for
Well,
uniforms.
but
That's
it's-
in a budget line item.
No, but it says, in the contract, it says that if it doesn't have Venetian on it, they pay for it. It's the manager's sole expense.
Well, but we do have a budget for
It
uniforms.
doesn't make sense for your budget. They charge us $1,600 for uniforms and they don't say Venetian on what's on the shirts. So it's their expense, not ours.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to.
Okay.
Because that's what it says, page 2.2, page 6.
Okay.
So we have that. Did you know Vesta was charging us to print up menus for the main line and Better Bistro? So we have them coming in here for free and we're spending money on printing menus.
Oh.
What do you mean printing menus?
They did some printing of menus or flyers or stuff to promote
How do
the
you
people
have to
coming
find
in.
that out?
Go this,
Is it really?
going through,
You scare me
going through
sometimes.
line items through Jonas.
See, this is one of the problems I've always had with the whole, we
Yeah.
get nothing out of that
Well,
except oil stains
yeah.
on the papers.
So we get nothing
You know?
out of it, so we get oil stands and we had to clean up and we spend money
But
on
it's
it.
something we're sponsoring. I guess I don't see a big thing.
But-
So they're running a few
But you,
copies.
you know what? If the people are coming here for free, they should be paying for their own flyers, not us. We're not making any money on
I've
it.
never even seen a flyer.
Yeah, I've never, but,
They put it online.
yeah, but then I guess they're doing something, but they've charged us, not a lot of money, but it just goes, there was no concern for anything else here.
Interesting.
Remember I made a comment about all the shampoos and soaps?
Yeah.
Okay, so it turned out they bought 24 gallons of shampoo and 12 gallons of body wash. But then Graceful Hearts, our cleaning people, also bought 4 gallons of shampoo and 4 gallons of body wash. So it's like,
We've already bought something like 30-something gallons this year.
exactly, so there's stuff,
A lot of soap.
there's stuff disappearing, right? There's stuff
Well, what's interesting, you say that, because I looked into the Amazon purchases, because I had access when Vesta was here, of how much of that we were using in the previous years, and it was about a dozen gallons a year,
Yeah.
which sounds about right. And all of a sudden, it ballooned to like 4 times.
Yeah, 4 times that in a short period of time, plus the cleaning people bought some on top of it.
Interesting,
So it's like just weird stuff.
interesting. Well,
Yeah, so I mean, so there's a lot of, and Graceful Hearts was charging us a late fee. They charge
for what?
45 to, a bill would get paid 10 days late. They would charge between $45 and $90 a late fee. We're paying them $40,000, $50,000 a year.
The cleaning people.
And Vesta allowed them to charge a late fee for a couple of days. I mean, again, no regard for our resources,
Interesting.
just stuff that's got passed through, came in, passed through.
Oh,
came
a
in,
lot, believe me, a lot of
with
stuff got passed through.
Nothing, so.
We should fire them.
So I'm just saying, so there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff, that, I was able to find a lot more pass-through invoices, for this past year, and it's about this year was about
You mean in
30,
Jonas?
in
You were
Jonas,
digging in
about
Jonas?
over $36,000 of Vesta pass-through invoices that I can find so
Well,
far.
one of the interesting things to
What
me,
does that mean, pass through?
All the Julie's charges, Julie's charges, Publix, Sam's Club, Walmart, all that nonsense. Most, some Home Depot. So some of it is legit, potentially, or likely, but most of it is Julie's.
so in other words, not an original
Yeah.
invoice, but passed through from something they processed.
Yeah.
And what I found interesting before Becky Belcher left is she said, sometimes Vesta would pay invoices from Jacksonville.
A lot of invoices.
And then there was no rhyme or reason to it. And, hopefully, I think we should talk about it on the record because it's an agenda item, but, I think we're going to be under a statutory deadline if we're going to restate the budget, which we're going to have to do. I think we're going to have to settle on it and then, figure out what we're going to do with anything that looks wonky,
Yeah.
and what we're going to pursue later.
So there's a lot of weird stuff. And then my last two things are, I had mentioned to you about speaking to LMP about seeing if they could do some trimming on the magnolias or something, because those things are ugly
They
and
are.
horrible looking.
They look awful.
And then we have a lot of dead landscaping on Laurel that needs to be addressed.
I'm meeting the new guys for Juniper today, that will be taking over for the account managers and those type of things. And those are some of the discussions that are going to be brought up.
It's my feeling is those trees went in, they were never right to begin with, and for $3,600, it's disgraceful that we're sitting with those ugly, crappy looking magnolias.
I
Yeah.
wonder if we could just transplant them somewhere else, because they're not gonna make it there, because those cocoa plum roots are gonna take them over.
Well, I talked to them about, putting some type of voodoo on them or something and, get them growing, and they said they would. So,
They also need to be trimmed out or something.
I think they just need to go
Yeah,
elsewhere. They're
it's-
not gonna thrive there. They're
No.
just not.
They're
Their
just.
roots
they
go
never have.
out. I don't know
They
what,
never have.
I don't know what, no, I don't
No,
know what they were thinking.
they
putting them there.
they look the same
It's
as the
not
day
a
they went
good
in.
idea.
No, it was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And, well, you know what? If it was a smaller, healthier, it might have been better, but they went in ugly and they're still ugly. And it's been a year and a half,
Well,
and there's no excuse that we paid $25,000 for that.
so let me just throw out there
That was
that
terrible.
I heard a rumor, not from John, but from somebody else in Hampton, that they were considering talking about taking over the River Club landscaping.
I heard the same.
So, since it's already, in a contract, that they would like to be able to control it. So maybe that's something we can bring up again.
Yeah, but-
once we have a GM.
But that's going forward, but they still owe us, LMP still owes us for what was done. And then we would have to renegotiate the LMP contract if they took over, or the Juniper contract if Hampton's gonna take over the River Club. Because right now they're,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they're being paid to do it, they're being paid to do it.
No, no.
Money has no sentimentality. It doesn't matter where it
no,
comes from.
Juniper would have to reduce, if Juniper's not gonna be responsible for the River Club, their contract, we're gonna have to renegotiate
Right,
this contract to
Yeah,
not include this.
They'll have less.
yeah,
less
because,
area to cover.
because, for my book, because actually Nancy and I were over here yesterday, and the River Club is a complete disgrace.
Oh, horrible.
It's disgraceful how it looks.
Yeah.
So, anyway, point well taken.
So those are my big ones.
Okay. So I had a bunch of a lot of little ones. So I wanted to ask Ken, I asked Keith kindly to hold off on sending out the email on the committees. Oh, this is one thing. Because you have a bunch of committee members who have, what?
I'm sorry, I forgot one other thing.
Okay.
Credit cards. So I got the merchant statements from
Oh, you mean the fees?
fees, yeah.
Okay.
We have 2 merchant accounts. I don't know where we have 2 accounts, but we have 2 accounts.
In our name.
In our name. And when Melissa was here giving us that 45-minute rendition of interchange
Right.
fees and transaction fee and this and that, and throwing these numbers and da-da-da-da, made it impossible to figure out what it really was. Well, here it is. This is the front page. Total sales, $2,900. Total charges and fees, $277, 9.5%. $14,000, 1,200 fees, 8.6%. $1,900, 5.75%.
Are these the Avalon bills?
Yes.
I
22,900,
have like 6 months of those that I did a
8.4%.
analysis on.
8.4%. These are the ones that she just sent me for September, August and September. 8.4, I mean, they were all high. And it's like they have these, like this one has an authorization fee charge of $400.
Everything I saw was running like around 6.
These are you seeing the full Avalon bills? Avalon, yeah. It's $22,000 and it's 1,480, it's 1,450 all out. It's 1,457. It's 8.5%. I mean, it's this, So it's like,
I'm more interested in the fact that there's 2 different merchants.
there's 2 merchant numbers. I feel like I'm gonna call up Avalon, whatever the name of the company is, and ask them to explain all these other, there's a payment net with an authorization fee, there's an authorization fee, there's an other fee.
Yeah,
There's all these
and the
different-
lower the volume, the higher the percentage of
Right.
cost because of the
But
transaction fee.
$22,900, the fees come to $1,457. It's bad because there's a $400 authorization fee. You get rid of the $400 authorization fee, whatever that is, I don't know. it's then $1,000 and it's 5%. But because of the,
Maybe it's semantics.
because of these, some of these extra fees that get tacked in, I don't know. Like this one has an authorization fee of $324 on a $14,000
You know,
bill.
I have a
Well,
suggestion.
The Hampton folks should be.
You read
familiar
my
with
mind.
these
I
things, too.
think
I would run it by them.
Karen,
Okay.
I would start with Karen McGrail.
Can do that.
I'll write her information down. She can at least point you to somebody who can dig into it, number one. But number two, you know, we've got somebody who's gonna be coming from, a member services person actually might not know that, but yeah, I would start with the Hampton people.
Oh, and also Investor was brought in people from St. Pete and.
For what?
As employees to temp here, and
St.
they,
Petersburg?
yeah, and they were making almost as much, they were making like $1,600 in wages and $1,400 in tips.
Interesting.
Uh,
Well, all I know about where people were coming
So-
from under Vesta, and then
So,
I never ever want to hear their name
yeah,
again.
so
because
the question
it makes me
here
nauseous.
was,
But-
you know,
but-
were these people getting double paid?
Well,
What was going on?
Who
I don't know.
knows? But all I maybe I
And
want to say
we
about
normally
it.
don't, we
Like,
normally
who's
don't,
getting double paid?
I don't know, I said, was he getting paid by?
Before we throw all
No, I
this
said,
stuff out.
no, I said, he might have been, was he getting paid by his real company that he's working for, and then came down here and got paid again by us? But contract labor doesn't.
Wait, are you talking about somebody from a Vesta community?
Yeah, another Vesta community, from the St. Pete Vesta community, came and worked here.
So they cross-charged us?
I don't, well, they charged us, I don't know if they cross-charged, they charged us for him.
Well, you know what? We'll never know.
Yeah, but,
We'll never know.
but
I wouldn't lose
contract
any, I hear you, but you know
but
what?
contract people don't get,
I
contract people
wouldn't,
aren't
I
supposed to
wouldn't
get
lose a
tips.
lot of sleep over that
So
one.
I'm just
'cause
saying,
we're done with them.
those are just the weird things that have been thrown in there.
Might have been cheaper than getting contract people. We don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Throwing stuff out.
But contract people don't get tips, so our staff
Sure
got,
they do with their servers.
contract labor gets tips? I don't know.
I can't believe they wouldn't.
Not that I've seen, the quick people I've never seen get paid tips. So
well,
I
if
don't
they're
know.
servers, I don't know.
If they're servers, I think.
Not on.
Well, I think, yeah,
Because their salaries are much lower, because they get ten.
absolutely.
No,
Well,
the quick people get $40 an hour.
I don't know, I don't want to argue
No,
about
I know,
it because
yeah,
it's
I'm just,
Vesta,
yeah,
and
I'm just saying,
I've already lost so much of my life to their
I'm just telling you,
incompetence.
I'm just telling you weird stuff that I found out,
Yeah,
that
I
just, a
hear
lot
you.
of stuff that doesn't, is
I get it,
very bizarre.
I get it. So,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
All
So-
yours now. I'm done.
No, that's all right. No, look, we wouldn't know about this stuff if you hadn't dug into it. So on advisory committees, I was about to have Keith send an email out and talk about 2-year terms, and I realized, Ken, your committee, and I think it's because when they were chartered, when Cheryl was the chair, they all have 3-year terms. Did you notice that?
They're staggered.
But they're still 3-year terms, and no other committees have 3-year terms. So my question is,
I have to,
well,
I know none of them are coming up this year.
no,
have a
that's
3-year
not,
term?
is that
Pardon?
right?
Do you have a 3-year term?
I believe so, I don't know.
They all do, but I think
I think we did something to get a staggered
yeah, but
tenure.
I mean, I think, my personal opinion, because one of the chief things we did earlier this year was try to conform everything with the committee, so, I mean.
Yeah, I'll have to check with the,
Yeah, so it's something we should think about, so, because the email said 2-year terms. So I take your point, it doesn't matter if none of those seats are coming up, but my question is that still the right thing to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna go forward, we should be, maybe, not change it, you can't change it now, but go forward, go to 2 years, get more people an opportunity.
No, but that's kind of my point, is I think, I think that they should be 2-year, I think they should be 2-year terms at least.
let me check
Going
the.
forward, but these are long, I mean, the first one that comes up is 2027. So maybe what you could consider is if somebody resigns, we just go to 2-year terms. But anyway, so I'll go ahead and get the email, ask Keith to send out the email on the open seats. There are none for reserves, so I'll just check which committees before we send the email out. And if reserves isn't mentioned, then, okay, cool. That was the first thing I had. A quick accounting question for Ken.
Ken.
It's you again. On reserves accounting, you saw that Melissa corrected the reserve amount that we paid for a leak in the roof over the kitchen. And I didn't think those reserves items were supposed to hit the income statement. That is the correct accounting, right? Because Carol McGrail from Hampton Accounting asked me that. And I said, I don't believe reserves items hit the income statement.
They should,
Okay, cool.
if it's a reserve item.
Right, correct. Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
If it was part of the overall repairs that were related to hurricane damage, it should be reserved.
Right, correct. So
And that's
like,
what I had told her.
okay, good. Because so for example, yeah, because she had asked me to confirm, because I had copied her on the email I sent to Melissa when I saw that the $2,800 repair hit the income statement, and Melissa fixed that. But I doubted myself, since I'm not an accountant by training and don't even play one on TV.
What I wasn't sure of is what did we do with the other roof repairs?
I actually have my book, and I can go down the line and tell you. I sent an email to Vanessa and Carol, and iterated for the River Club, what charges had been assigned to reserves, what they were for, and which account they came from.
I couldn't remember if they went to hurricane damage. I know the tower and all that
The
stuff.
tower,
I have an extra, that's for you.
I don't know about the roof repairs. I didn't get involved in that.
Yeah, because my understanding is the roof repairs were all hurricane
Yeah,
related.
they should have been, because it was all physical damage.
Exactly.
And that's what I said. It should be a part of the
Yes,
reserve.
and I just
Part of
wanted
it.
to understand the
Yeah.
actual accounting, that they would not hit the income statement. That was always my understanding, and then,
No, that's correct.
okay, perfect, okay, so that handles that. I wanted to let you know on the solid work group that, a couple things, following the July 28th discussion we had with the board, where the board, said that, they like the elements of the central bar design best, and the committee's obligation, enough of the elements to get some good pricing. And then Jamie actually can help us talk to a builder to get general pricing. So this does not mean that what you saw on paper is fixed. It just means here are the general elements that are contained in the plan that you looked at.
Where does that committee, as an ad hoc, whatever, start becoming toward an advisory committee where
We're
we have?
still getting information.
Okay.
We're still getting information. And I think, and this is my personal opinion, and I think we should debate it further when Cindy and Cheryl come back, but I think we need to be careful not to have the committees driving this, that it needs to be driven. Hampton has a lot of experience with this stuff.
Absolutely.
And so I think, and especially, Jamie has, as John said, Jamie has a tremendous amount of experience with this. So I came away from, not everybody agreed with me, but I came away from the LaSala meeting we had with Jamie feeling really good because of the amount of experience going into it. So I think that it's a long way of answering your question. And I think once it's, embraced by Hampton, that's going to take away a lot of those issues. We still need to have, help, but I think that will take away the advisory committee thing. But maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see how it
Well, I
goes.
was meaning more because it's not an advisory committee. It's getting to the point they're almost starting to make decisions.
No, we're not. There's no decisions being made. We're just going out for pricing
Okay, all right.
according to what the board saw.
Okay,
So
all right,
that's
okay,
that.
okay,
So
okay.
stay tuned. The next thing I wanted to bring up was the fence on Laurel Road from the West Monument, or not from the West Monument, from the 9th hole men's tees up to Veneto, and I would say including the front gate. I think we have a huge issue there. I'm really sorry I didn't push harder when we were looking at the plan. And I recognize we need to wait till Cheryl and Cindy get back. But we did get pricing on the Laurel Road fencing. I think going from the western border all the way down to the park was something like $60,000.
Last week I had try to put some stuff together to try to get some quotes.
Yeah,
So this week is on my to-do
Okay.
list to get quotes
Okay.
just for that section there. And
Would-
then if,
From where to where?
from the ninth tee, where
Yes.
the ninth tee there, and then all the way down to the gate, and then making the curve into the gatehouse and
Yeah.
doing all that.
When
Yeah.
you get the quote, have them use you're gonna use like a chicken wire fence? Like, that kind
not
of-
chicken wire.
Not chicken wire, I mean like regular.
Chain link.
Chain link, but they make small chain link that you can't climb. You know, you can't put your feet in,
Yeah.
The chain, you want the smaller chain link.
Smaller, yeah,
So-
smaller opening.
Yeah,
It's kind of the green vinyl, so you can't.
Yeah, so you can't put your feet into it when you climb over it.
Yeah, because I think, and I went to the Sarasota website for property appraiser and looked at the property lines, and there should be plenty of room to do a fence, because frankly, I think we also need man gates. I still see golf carts bypassing the gate, which makes me absolutely crazy. And we clearly have an epidemic now of people coming in, and you saw Tracy Greco's email.
And people also,
It's
I also see people coming through the back gate, because it's self-delegate, you can just.
A golf cart can go through
A
there. I've
golf cart
seen
can
it.
go through it, bicycles can go through
Right.
it, people can walk through it.
Yeah.
So we have the gate on the sidewalk, so you can't walk on the sidewalk, but you can walk right through the gate in the street. It's ridiculous.
I've seen a golf cart go through the gate on Siltadella.
So I think we should think about changing the gate and some of the, well, I know we're gonna talk.
Well, yeah, I don't
about
want to go off piece here. I don't want to lose
Yeah.
I
sight of
have
the
no
fact.
problem getting quotes for the fencing,
Yeah,
but I don't want to overreact either. People
No,
come in
right.
and fish.
Mhm,
I asked the person that wrote the email, have you ever called the police?
mhm,
No response.
yeah.
Now, at that
Before
island
we
where,
spend tens of thousands of dollars, which it will be,
right across from the email that you received, that island, there's two signs on each side of that island
Right.
saying this is a preserve, stay out. And so I did put new signs out there last week, private property, stay out, Venetian, right next to those signs, right?
Yeah.
Do the signs work?
No,
No. I mean, I've kicked people out here and they said, well, how can you kick me? Well, the sign right you're standing next to.
well, plus it isn't just people, hang on, it isn't just people standing at the edge of the pond casting lines in. We have people who are waking up and finding people outside their lanais. And
they should call the police.
yes, but I also think I would prefer not to have it be a post hoc thing. I think and it's only gonna get worse. I seriously think we need to look at putting up a fence there.
I'm not denying that, but Ken is right. When I first moved in here, I called the police 3 times.
Yeah.
The first summer,
Right,
haven't seen anybody back there yet.
yeah,
Except I saw a couple of kids a few weeks ago that were fishing. I told them that and they left.
yeah.
I think they lived here, so they were visiting some, I think they were visiting.
Were they on your side or the other side? Like, they were,
The kids were, okay, the first time I saw a guy was walking around the lake and walked up my side,
right,
but he was, there's the lake, and he was casting, but looking at all the
yeah, I'm
houses.
sure he was,
So
Yeah.
the police escorted him out.
yeah,
Another time there were people on the other side, back,
Right.
by where the boardwalk area is, and they saw the police come, they went running.
Yeah.
The third time the police came, by the time the police came, the person had left.
yeah.
Since then, I have not seen anybody back there except 2 kids because,
Well, I think we should try that first.
yeah, I think they got the
If
message.
people are concerned about it, call the police.
I'll get quotes for the fence
I-
from
I-
9 on down
I-
around.
I would like to know.
And
how much it's
then
gonna
man
cost.
gates on that side. Also, though, if you're gonna do man gate, do a man gate prior to the entrance
Yeah.
going into the visitor center.
Mhm.
Because if you put it after
Right.
that, they
There's
just
no
go
point.
through
Go
there.
through, Yeah, yeah.
So I'll get a couple
You
different
know,
quotes.
I know, I will note for you, there's clearly concern generally, because yesterday I wanted to walk up Laurel Road, and I'll tell you what, so much of that stuff is dead. It's shocking
Yeah,
how
it's
much of
horrible.
it's dead. I wanted to walk on foot, so I took a really long walk yesterday with my friend. We walked all the way up Laurel from Siltadella, all the way up to Vistira, across from Willow Chase, and then down into Vistira. And Vistira now has their gates locked. So even the man gates are locked. I figured out a way to jimmy the man gate open, but they clearly are stopping, and there is a fence that goes along the back of the apartment. So they clearly are stopping people from going into Vistira from there. So all I'm gonna say is, it ain't gonna get better. So I think I would just like to, let's get a price
Yeah,
on it.
and that's what some people working in the community yesterday that I do not believe with.
Yeah, yeah.
They were just,
I mean,
and that one,
I would just like to
down by
know.
my street, so I'm way off the beaten
Yeah,
path, so if you're
yeah.
down by my street, you've walked a lot.
Yeah, I would just like to know what the price is.
Okay.
How are we doing? Okay, good. So, John and I had a nice chat about Christmas bonus, because we have to start thinking about that now. And I had queried, well, because we've always sent Christmas bonus to, I don't know how it's got paid. And I asked Melissa if she had any information on it. And she said she doesn't, because she doesn't have access to the payroll records. Goes the steam out of my head. But anyway, so what John and I talked about was, if we're gonna continue the tradition, it has to be fairly soon. And then the question for me becomes, how we do it, because I think in the past we've always hit people involuntarily for $1,000 unless they said they didn't want it. Sorry, $15. Sorry. Jesus, $15. No, I was thinking that the number in the income statement was 19,000. That's where that came from. We hit everybody up for $15 on their account, but if they did not want to have that, we would.
They can opt out.
Yeah, I mean, what John and I chatted. Wait.
Well, so I've run a holiday fund before at a club. They did it with all just opt in and send a letter out to everybody, and they can reply via snail mail, via email, and say, hey, put X amount on my account. Typically, with a member would just put like a month's worth of dues and say, if they're paying $800 a month, they would say, charge me $800. And then we would collect all that, and then we would come up with a pro rata, distribution amongst the different employees. But who's included and who's not, and all that, I mean, that's all up to the club, how they want to do it. So I've never seen it done before where it's mandated, but I've also never been in a community worried about 100% penetration either. So,
Yeah,
because that community, we only had 300 homes, and we had about 75% membership penetration.
So even in your golf clubs, all that, you don't say $50 charge unless you opt out? Or?
No, it's always been completely voluntary. Because some of the people will give cash to certain people, or they'll do whatever they want to do. So, but if you've done it, if you've already had it been built as a built-in charge, and that's been working, there's no reason to change it either. The real key to it though is how it's communicated and then how it's administrated.
Yeah.
Because usually the rub is that it should be for hourly employees, but then you get managers involved that they think that they should be included in it, and then they take a larger chunk because they're a manager, and there's a lot of ins and outs.
Yeah. So, do we have time, assuming we have a new GM fairly soon, like early November, do we have time? Because we haven't done anything, so.
Yeah, I think
I'm just nervous.
we would send an email out on November 1st and say the deadline is November 30th.
It's either your November or December bill.
Well, we put them all in a December bill because we wanted to make sure that we had the commitments all in and that we collected everything before we paid it out. So
I think the golf club, do you remember the golf club here? Do you remember if it's November or December?
November, we just got the.
We just got, that's what
I
prompted
think it's
mine.
November, same with my club up north, it's November.
You need to have the money in hand before you can pay it out.
Yes.
well, you at least have it charged to the accounts.
Yeah. So at least you know how much you have.
Right.
Right.
So,
And Jonas got some payouts, Keith
was that right?
Keith
Okay.
didn't hand out bonuses, but only the bonuses, it lump sum didn't break it down, how it got paid
Oh,
or where it
okay,
got
I
paid,
see.
but it shows that it was paid out.
Okay,
And that's the other thing too, is that it was up to the GM in my situation to collect it and keep it all a secret. Who gave what,
right,
who got paid what, all that
Right.
is just one person that manages all of that so that there's no,
There's no secrets.
right, yeah.
so we would have time though, assuming we.
Yeah,
have
assuming
a-
it goes out like, the next week or two. I mean, you have a pretty tight knit community here. You can get out to people quickly and they can respond quickly.
And so my question for you two, I know what I think is, do we do what we've always done, or do we say it's voluntary and whatever?
I would do an opt-out because it's gonna be so much harder to
Try
opt
to,
in.
try to manage
It's too quick.
1,377.
Yeah, opt-ins,
Opting out is
Yeah.
more manageable,
Okay,
I would hope.
I gotta believe.
so,
And a lot of people
And
don't.
people are
read-
used to it.
And people don't read the emails, so that, even if they want to
True.
contribute, they're not gonna read the email.
that's a
Well,
good
if
point.
you made it, if you just added it across the entire membership on the November statements with the communication that said that if you want to opt out, just let us know. You can always credit them back in the December statement.
Right.
That's a fair point,
Yeah.
okay.
It's $15. I mean,
I don't know how many people opt out
It was
here.
15 and not 50.
Okay.
It was 15.
It was
$15.
$15. Yeah, I screwed up everybody by putting 1,000. Yeah.
Some places it's 50.
Yeah, okay. So, are you here after today, John? or-
I'm leaving today and Bill will be here tomorrow.
Okay,
And that's as much as I know.
okay. As much as you want to know.
Well, I have to do month end at Stonegate and he's gonna do month
Okay.
end here. But past that,
Okay,
it's TBD.
okay, cool.
Our intent is to have somebody on site at all times, though.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's good.
Mhm.
So one thing, and I don't know, John, how much, you can weigh in, but, I've watched, we've had Jordan at the front desk really is working hard. And I had talked to John in principle about whether maybe there is a way for Laura to help if there's anything she could do at her desk that could help ease some of the,
Well, we
the
have
burden
a
at the front
lifestyle
desk.
manager starts today and I'll have to excuse myself at 11 o'clock.
Oh, yes, I meant to mention that, yes. That was
So,
it's on my other
My
thing.
plan is to have her sit with Jordan for today.
Okay,
Bill will be here tomorrow, just
Okay.
kind of giving her the lay of the land. I don't know what her Jonas expertise is. I'll find that out.
okay,
But for right now, I think we need to start separating some of those things out so that there's not bill paying and all that going on at the reception desk.
I think that's right.
So I'm gonna try to get her tasked with at least collecting payments, answering billing questions.
Okay,
Yeah,
Speaking of that, statements did not get emailed out to the residents.
so I was communicating with my accounting team, and one of the comments I read is, and I forget it wasn't from either Carol or Dee Dee or Jessica, but one of them said that they sat with a certain individual and reiterated twice in person that these emails had been sent out. And I don't believe that they did go out.
They have not been sent out.
Right.
I never got them and a few other people didn't get them. So what happened is the people who pay by check, which is a significant number of people, did not know to pay. So even if you can't get the statement out, at least get an email out notifying everybody that your statement is available online and it must get paid. Because people are unaware, because the person looked like 2 weeks ago, there was no statement. The statements are now online, so they are there.
yeah,
But
they are.
if they don't get a reminder to pay, and then you need to have a process of when a person comes in with a check, who's gonna get that check? I don't know if it should be Jordan or not.
Right.
Because
That's part of it.
that's a critical point
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, because
So-
my thinking, there's actually a lot of telephone, there's a lot that goes on the telephone up there. And some of that can be, for example, dining reservations. So I don't know whether our voicemail system sends voicemails to email or whether there are voicemails. And so, for example, coming back to what I was bringing up with initially, if there are voicemails, and I'm sure Laura has the bandwidth, yet at least we can try to make sure we're not missing some important communications, from residents who are trying to book a table for dinner or ask a question.
I booked a table for dinner online. I had a confirmation. I came, showed up. My name was not on the list.
Well, so that's a question I
I
have.
did the same and had no problem.
I mean, I got a table, oh,
But I think,
Right,
but I
right,
think
right.
what happens is it has to get translated. I don't know whether John knows or not. Do you know, like if I book a reservation for dinner Wednesday night, does that then get translated to a piece of paper at the hostess station? Is that a physical thing that has to
They,
happen?
they print it and then they do a seating chart, yeah.
Because maybe, there are things like that's what I'm thinking of. It's the little big things where if, somebody who has some time can help keep those carts on the track,
Right.
I think it would be helpful. So I just wanted you to know that I sort of.
I think Jordan's keeping up with the voicemails, but I can check on that.
No, it's not.
He's not?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not from what I've heard.
Yeah, I think.
And like I
so.
said, and like I said,
He's right there.
I'll take care of it when Catherine gets here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to raise that. I think if we have some extra bandwidth there. The only other thing I thought of, and then we probably should take a break before we start, although I don't see Belinda yet, is Keith and I had talked about the possible concept of sending an email out to the community regarding, there've been we've gotten so many inquiries, I think you've gotten inquiries about what stuff gets trimmed, either it's on a schedule or how it happens. I think that we should try to be a bit more proactive in communicating to people on how the lake banks, get cared for. And I don't know how that happens, but.
I have John forming a letter
Oh,
or
great.
a thing, just per our
I think it'd be so
conversation,
helpful to tell people.
to outline all that. And then as soon as I get it, I'll forward it to you and you can tell me how to.
I think it'd be
I
great.
got one even a little bit better than that.
Okay, well, there you go.
Well, that's great, but it's a bigger picture. We have problems with ponds, we have problems with the trimming, we have problems with LMP,
Right.
we have Solitude versus Crow Creek. I think we should get, and our ponds are a mess, and I know you talked about having a quote for doing, I'd love to see Cross Creek here with Solitude and LMP at a meeting, so we can sit and discuss or even meet at a pond, who's responsible for what? Because if we're gonna start contemplating spending money to do the work that if LMP did something wrong, or if Cross Creek did something wrong, and we're paying Solitude, or have to pay Juniper to do something, I mean, I'm a little confused as to why the conditions of these ponds are that we're now having to spend potentially more money to fix things up when we had contracts.
Well, I think by contract, it's, at least my sense is it's pretty clear. By contract, it's clear.
Well,
But whether it happens.
There's a problem among the contractors, there's stuff not getting done.
Well, Cross Creek's no longer here.
Yeah, they're out of the picture.
They're out of the picture.
I know,
Solitude is picking up, and the one pond that was in question over on Balanza, that has
That cleared itself.
gone. It's cleaning up itself.
It's gone. I
But-
went and looked at it too.
Is it gone?
On Friday or Saturday.
So I mean,
Jerry says
there's
it's
some
not gone.
ponds. There are some ponds that need.
Jerry Flood is nodding, shaking his head, no, it's not gone.
Depends on the direction of the wind.
So
Well, it was 90% gone.
Well, it could have been, but then the next day the wind
It comes
shifts
back.
the other way and it comes back. And my big thing was I wanted somebody to scoop it up so it didn't keep moving around the lake.
Exactly.
It seems to me it'd be a logical thing to do.
and I do have that
Like it
quote.
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But my question is, we're spending money now to scoop up that stuff. Was it refuse from LMP not trimming properly? Or was it
No,
Cross Creek?
it comes from the bottom of the pond.
So, but Cross Creek not doing their job, so what? So, okay,
They didn't
then,
want to
so
hear you.
why are we letting Cross Creek off? I mean, I know they're not here anymore, but why are we letting them off for a contract they had for maintenance that is now?
Well, I think I don't disagree with you. I think it's an issue along with the thing that Keith and I have talked about, which is I think there are a lot of questions. Frankly, I'm a geek, so I think it's interesting. How does all this stuff get done? Because anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I'm confused also as to who's responsible for what. Is it Solitude? Is it Juniper? What do we do? What don't we do? And I'm sitting here and we're talking about Pond 42. I don't know what Pond 42 is, and I don't, and I can't get to Pond 42 and
That's
talk
why
about.
we have a field man.
But
I
the
know,
ponds,
But we're sitting here making decisions.
the ponds have nothing to do with LMP.
Okay.
Nada, okay?
Unless-
Now,
unless
they're
LMP
mowing,
Unless they dump a whole lot of grass.
if they're mowing in the wrong direction, okay, that would have an issue with LMP, but it has nothing, not with the ponds. The ponds are taken care of, but now by Solitude, which we are seeing
Right.
it picking back up and getting back to. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning more towards spending some of that and pulling all that grass, that stuff out of there, because we still have a couple big ponds that have a lot of it.
Yeah.
All right, it's $4,700 to have that done. And I was going to bring it up during the actual my section during the,
Right.
but so there's two scenarios. And that's part of my, going to be with my meeting today with,
I think we're
Okay,
into meeting.
Yeah.
well, Lorinda's not here though.
yeah, she's in the bar probably.
They hang out back there.
Oh, okay, do we, I don't need to get myself.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay,
Just to
cool.
close the loop on your question about the committee, I don't know, I'm gonna check Zach or Mark Newberg on those